Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today we will be having a debate regarding the legalization of marijuana in the Philippines. Legalization of marijuana consumption is immensely beneficial for it would further foster the health and well-being among Filipinos. Amidst the effort to legalize medical marijuana, such as House Bill 6517, proposing to legalize it, representing the affirmative side are Mr. ILUMBA Dave, Mr. BASULGAN MARLON, Miss Dalangin Angelica, and Miss ENRIQUEZ BIANCA. And the negative side are Mr. ELJERA JOHNNIE, Miss DUMA REXIE, Miss CAPITO ANNACIAL, and Mr. ARNEL Manuel Jr. And I am Rosemarie Reyes, your moderator for today. This is the rule for this debate. We have two sides, the affirmative and negative, and each side have four debaters. The constructive speech and rebuttal of each group have 4 minutes to deliver their speech and express their opinion about legalization of marijuana in the Philippines. The other side give their argument about the topic and the interpretation for categorical question. They have 2 minutes to ask question and answer the other side. Mr. ILUMBA Dave, please stand up. You have 4 minutes to tell us why we should legalize marijuana in the Philippines.
I agree.
Wait. Mula.
I agree to legalize marijuana for medical purposes because many people can't afford to buy medicine, but marijuana can cure many kind of diseases. So with marijuana legalized in the Philippines, many lives can save. Most states are passing laws that allow people to use medical marijuana. So what does it treat and who should use it? Pain is the main reason people ask for a prescription, says a pain medicine specialist at the University of California, Davis Medical Center. It could be from headache, as disease like cancer or a long-term condition like glaucoma or nerve pain. If you live in a state where medical marijuana is legal and your doctor thinks it would help, you'll get a marijuana card. You will be put on list that allows you to buy marijuana.
So do you think marijuana is always good to our health? Please explain.
Marijuana is healthy to our health if our doctors agree to use medical marijuana for our body. And also, this medicine is approved by many doctors in America or in other states.
Mr. Johnny ELJERA, please stand up. You have 4 minutes to tell us why we should not legalize marijuana in the Philippines.
Are you sure that marijuana saves lives? Is saving lives for you is hurting other people? What about others? Yes, they are good at using it, but what about the person who was turned away due to the excessive use of marijuana? I don't agree with that marijuana can save many lives, and most of all, it is legal, it is not cheap, and it cannot be afforded by the unfortunate person. The marijuana products of today are high in potency and can reach 99% pure delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol THC. The THC in marijuana causes the high and leads to addiction, mental illness, violence, crime, traffic deaths, and many health and social problems. Research linking marijuana use to psychosis and schizophrenia and acts of violence in uniformly ignored by the proponents of marijuana use. So don't make marijuana legalized in our country because it won't be good for the Filipinos, and the Filipinos who will use it can handle it. There is a possibility that what comes on her mind and what can be done. And always remember, most of the crime in our country has the influence of drugs on his mind. Thank you.
So, what is the reason why medical marijuana is legal in other countries?
Because it's have so many purposes on their country. Kasi napag-eksperimentohan na ito ng mga eksperto sa ibang bansa. Yung medical marijuana sa kanilang bansa ay talagang subok na.
Mr. Basulgan Marlon, please stand up. You have 4 minutes to tell us why we should legalize marijuana in the Philippines.
In 2019, the House of Representatives approved on final regarding House Bill number 6517, or the Purpose Philippines Compassionate Medical Cannabis Act. The seek of provide compulsion and right of access to medical cannabis and expand research into its medical properties. In 2020, Senate agreed that Congress must not lose time and waste efforts to legalize a law that will make legal the use of cannabis for medical purpose. According to Harvard Health Publishing, marijuana is the pain of multiple sclerosis and nerve pain. Patients claim the marijuana allows them to resume their previous activities without living completely out of it and designate. It also links the tremors and Parkinson's disease. Marijuana can also treat glaucoma and manage nausea and weight loss. Many people suffering from epilepsy see marijuana stop the seizure, but there is little significant evidence. Research must apply for a special license from Drug Enforcement Administration and in order to study marijuana. They need permission to access to supply skipped by National Institute for Drug Abuse. These challenges have allowed research. How it works, epilepsy, isn't fully understood, but there have been small studies that show the result of use cannabis. The study of mates published in Spain, trusted source have shown mixed result. While some found cannabis was effect against serious, others did not. This may be due to the way the drug was given, since some methods work better than others. The idea of using these compounds in marijuana to treat epilepsy is gaining appeal. Researchers must confirm its effectiveness and solve the problem of strain and how to give it. Potency can vary widely from plant to plant. Inhaling the drug virus eating cannabis can alter the strain as well. Did you know the marijuana is that most commonly illegal drug? Use of us today, there has been a controversial argument over whether marijuana shall be legalized or not. This particular issue that I'm about to expand on will especially falls under the topic of individual conscience virus, the authority of the law.
A pleasant day to you, Mr. Marlon. A pleasant day to you, Mr. Marlon. You said that in 2019, the House of Representatives approved on third and final reading House Bill number 6570, or the proposed Philippine Compassionate Medical Cannabis Act, that seeks to provide compassionate and right to access to medical cannabis and expand research into its medical properties.
Yes, it's possible.
Miss DUMA REXIE, please stand up. You have 4 minutes to tell us why we should not legalize marijuana in the Philippines. A pleasant day to all. First, I would like to say that how could I be reckless to think that marijuana is ethical when it has unpleasant effects? Your Honor, cannabis can be illegal in the Philippines since 1972 by virtue of Republic Act number 6425, or the Dangerous Drugs Act of 1972. To those who did not know, this is the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, officially designated as Republic Act number 91-1965, is a consolidation of Senate Bill number 1858 and House Bill number 4433. It was enacted and passed by the Senate of the Philippines and House of Representatives of the Philippines on May 30, 2002 and May 9, 2002 respectively. Having a usage of cannabis may affect your health. Based on research, we're discussing about the effect of marijuana in body. It said, marijuana, weed, pot, dope, grass. They're different names for the same drug that comes from the cannabis plant. You can smoke it, vape it, drink it, or eat it. Most folk use marijuana for pleasure and recreation, but a growing number of doctors prescribe it for specific medical conditions and symptoms, but marijuana has mind-altering compounds that affect both your brain and body. It can be addictive and it may be harmful to some people's health. There are a lot of negative effects from using marijuana. The main active chemical in marijuana is THC, delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. When someone smokes marijuana, THC goes from the lungs into the bloodstream. From there, it ends up in the brain and other organs. THC connects with the receptor on nerve cells in the brain. The marijuana high result from THC affects on the nerve cells that control sensory perception and pleasure. THC also connects with receptor on nerve cells in the other parts of the brain that affects thinking, memory, coordination, and concentration. This can cause unwanted side effects, including trouble thinking and problem solving, problems with memory and learning, loss of coordination, distorted perceptions. People also might notice other short-term side effects of using marijuana, such as increased appetite, feeling lightheaded or drowsy, a decrease in inhibition. According to Article 2, Section 3 of Prohibited Drugs, importation of prohibited drugs, the penalty of imprisonment ranging from 14 years and 1 day to life imprisonment and a fine ranging from 14,000 to 30,000 pesos shall be imposed upon any person who, unless authorized by law, shall import or bring into Philippines any prohibited drug. Another reason why we need to not legalize marijuana in Philippines. First, the term medical marijuana implies that marijuana is like any other medication prescribed by a physician. Yet, the ways in which medical marijuana has been approved, prescribed, and made available to the public are very different from other commercial available prescription drugs. These differences pose problems unrecognized by the public and by many physicians. Lack of evidence in therapeutic benefits. In the United States, commercially available drugs are subject to rigorous clinical trials to evaluate safety and efficacy. Data appraising the effectiveness of marijuana in conditions such as HIV, AIDS, epilepsy, and chemotherapy associated, vomiting is limited and often only anecdotal. To date, there has been only one randomized double-blind
According to Ms. REXIE, TC
Miss DUMA REXIE, please stand up. You have 4 minutes to tell us why we should not legalize marijuana in the Philippines. A pleasant day to all. First, I would like to say that how could I be reckless to think that marijuana is ethical when it has unpleasant effects? Your Honor, cannabis can be illegal in the Philippines since 1972 by virtue of Republic Act No. 6425 or the Dangerous Drugs Act of 1972. To those who did not know, this is the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, officially designated as Republic Act No. 91/1965, is a consolidation of Senate Bill No. 1858 and House Bill No. 4433. It was enacted and passed by the Senate of the Philippines and House of Representatives of the Philippines on May 30, 2002 and May 9, 2002 respectively. Having a usage of cannabis may affect your health. Based on research, we're discussing about the effect of marijuana in body. It said, marijuana, weed, pot, dope, grass. They're different names for the same drug that comes from the cannabis plant. You can smoke it, vape it, drink it, or eat it. Most folk use marijuana for pleasure and recreation, but a growing number of doctors prescribe it for specific medical conditions and symptoms, but marijuana has mind-altering compounds that affect both your brain and body. It can be addictive and it may be harmful to some people's health. There are a lot of negative effects from using marijuana. The main active chemical in marijuana is THC, delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. When someone smokes marijuana, THC goes from the lungs into the bloodstream. From there, it ends up in the brain and other organs. THC connects with the receptor on nerve cells in the brain. The marijuana high result from THC effects on the nerve cells that control sensory perception and pleasure. THC also connects with receptor on nerve cells in the other parts of the brain that affects thinking, memory, coordination, and concentration. This can cause unwanted side effects, including trouble thinking and problem solving, problems with memory and learning, loss of coordination, distorted perceptions. People also might notice other short-term side effects of using marijuana, such as increased appetite, feeling lightheaded or drowsy, a decrease in inhibition. According to Article 2, Section 3 of Prohibited Drugs, Importation of Prohibited Drugs, the penalty of imprisonment ranging from 14 years and 1 day to life imprisonment and a fine ranging from 14,000 to 30,000 pesos shall be imposed upon any person who, unless authorized by law, shall import or bring into Philippines any prohibited drug. Another reason why we need to not legalize marijuana in Philippines. First, the term medical marijuana implies that marijuana is like any other medication prescribed by a physician. Yet, the ways in which medical marijuana has been approved, prescribed, and made available to the public are very different from other commercial available prescription drugs. These differences pose problems unrecognized by the public and by many physicians. Lack of evidence in therapeutic benefits. In the United States, commercially available drugs are subject to rigorous clinical trials to evaluate safety and efficacy. Data appraising the effectiveness of marijuana in conditions such as HIV, AIDS, epilepsy, and chemotherapy associated vomiting is limited and often only anecdotal. To date, there has been only one randomized double-blind
According to Ms. REXIE, TC with a respiratory or on nerve cell MD marijuana, high result from the effects on the nerve cell that control sensory perception and pleasure. Now, how can
Today, There has been only one randomized double-blind, placebo and active controlled trial evaluating the efficacy of smoked marijuana for any of its potential indications, which showed that marijuana was superior to placebo but inferior to ondansetron in treating nausea. Recent reviews by the Cochrane collaboration find insufficient evidence to support the use of smoked marijuana for a number of potential indications, including pain related to rheumatoid arthritis, dementia, ataxia, or tremor in multiple sclerosis, and cassia and other symptoms in HIV/AIDS. This does not mean, of course, that components of marijuana do not have potential therapeutic effects of alleviate onerous symptoms of these diseases. But given the unfavorable side effect profile of marijuana, the evidence to justify use in this condition is still lacking.
Miss Dalangin Angelica, please stand up. You have 4 minutes to tell us why we should legalize marijuana in the Philippines.
Why we should legalize marijuana in the Philippines? Here's the answer. Legalization of marijuana for medical purposes is good, especially for those people having diseases. This drug can help cure diseases including cancer, glaucoma, and AIDS. Other people claim that it is a great stress reliever and useful medicine for pain. Even doctors prescribe this drug to people who have problems in sleeping and eating. These are the benefits of marijuana: reduce anxiety, reduce inflammation, and relieve pain, kill cancer cells, and slow tumor growth. That's why we need to legalize marijuana for medical, because it has a good benefits, especially for those people who suffering diseases. The truth is, marijuana is not a harmful drug, although the use of it can have negative effects on physical and mental. If used well, it benefits the user, and when it comes to relative risk and harm, marijuana is proven to be far less harmful than other products, alcohol and tobacco. According to the latest analysis by NerdWallet, if all 50 states legalize marijuana today, the country could gain over $3 billion in tax revenue. This very large potential profit can be extremely helpful in our entire nation. It can use to better education, improve healthcare, and develop the justice system, help the poor, pay off countries' debt, and fortify unfunded government programs. And remember that besides sales tax, several other revenues can also be generated when marijuana is legalized. Once legal, states and cities can impose other fees, such as licenses and annual fees, on consumers and retailers. While some people believe marijuana impacts your body and life in a negative way, marijuana has many good uses. Multiple studies show that marijuana treats nausea. Marijuana also treats appetite loss associated with many types of cancer and HIV. These are the important reasons, because these are all common problems that affect a lot of people, and these problems can be treated simply by legalizing marijuana. If something is a solution to common problems, shouldn't it be legal? That's all. Thank you.
What are the good benefits of taking marijuana medically?
Marijuana may help people with alcohol or opioid dependencies to fight their addictions. Marijuana can help treat appetite loss associated with conditions like HIV and AIDS, and also certain types of cancers. Marijuana can relieve certain types of chronic pain, which is caused by nerve damage. Marijuana is safer than some other medications prescribed to treat pain. For example, some people may use it instead of opioids for pain management. Opioids are highly addictive and are typically not recommended for long-term use in treating chronic pain.
Miss CAPITO ANNACIAL,
Legalizing cannabis provides an opportunity to put in place regulations minimize potential harms. The danger of buying and using any illegal drug is that we can never know for sure that exactly is in it. Cannabis is legal in Canada as of October 17, 2018. Over age 19 in BC are now permitted to processes up to 30 grams of cannabis in public. Cannabis is regulated by the province of British Columbia and will be sold through the liquor distribution branch.
Miss Enriquez, Bianca Jane, please stand up. You have 4 minutes to tell us why we should legalize marijuana in the Philippines.
I would like to defend mine. Legalizing the marijuana for medical purposes is such a serious matter. I agree to legalize the medical marijuana in the Philippines. This kind of drugs can cure a different kind of disease. Medical marijuana is more effective in controlling pain and nausea from chemotherapy treatments and in boosting the appetites of AIDS patients, so as to combat wasting than any of the traditional FDA-approved medications. Marijuana is a medicine. This plant-based treatment should be an accessible healthcare choice for all patients. Scientific data support its used to treat specific ailments or a condition. Research has shown, for example, that it's an exceptionally effective treatment for seizures and chronic pain. This plant can be used in many forms of application or injection. Medical marijuana known benefits to treat depression, insomnia, ADHD pain, post-traumatic stress disorder, and many more ailments. Like any medicine, marijuana must be prescribed and dosed properly. I had many misconceptions about the drug. With research, though, I learned that marijuana not only has multiple potential medical uses, but also has fewer side effects compared to the other medications. In addition to pain relief, medical marijuana provides relief to the common conditions associated with chronic pain, such as anxiety, depression, and insomnia. With medical marijuana, the pharmacological management for chronic pain can be simplified with lesser need to also prescribe medications for anxiety, depression, and insomnia. The addictive effects of marijuana is slight and there is no risk of death with marijuana withdrawal. Medical marijuana shows considerable promise in reducing chronic pain from a widespread number of causes, including cancer, spinal cord injury and disease, severe spasm and post-traumatic stress disorder, nausea and glaucoma, Parkinson's, and other debilitating ailments. The drug could prove useful in their applications if patients are allowed to use it.
You know that using marijuana makes you lose yourself, and the prevalence of marijuana use, and so many people lose their lives. So how can you say that using marijuana is good if it can be caused by a right of women because of marijuana? Marijuana cause of crime and is mentally developing, and the frequency of user marijuana is user is poor, so their life is not getting better because of marijuana addiction. According to the Nation Institute on the Drug Abuse, a recent of government survey showed that over 500,000 Filipinos over the age of 12 have a try of marijuana at least once in their lifetime. It also been known that the the 1 million user marijuana of the day based nation institution on the drug abuse. Such statistics are the increasing on the alarming rate. It is sometimes that we should be all be concerned about the reason why I chose that topic is due it to my conceit over the substance. I have the hard it being a drug and that it makes people high, but I have never understand. So why a large of the people once legalize it is sometimes before today I'm going in, introduce you about marijuana and it is positive negative effect on individual and society. First, I'm going to explain about the second part. It will be explaining the positive and negative effect of the marijuana. And I will touch upon the latest trend over the legalization of marijuana over, over the three main plant shop to the give our class lim- limbs of the marijuana is and why many effect.
So here is my question, Mr. Manuel. Why not provide patients with a safer option? And why continue to allow doctors to prescribe powerful addictive opiates but deny them the authority to legally prescribe medical marijuana?
Question: why not provide patients with a safe option? Because it's harmful and it is abused so much. It is not drugs, but it hurts some people who use it is need to be paid attention and not just legalized because it is not good and the user can still see it not safe, especially on young people.
Thank you, speakers. This is the end of our debate. Thank you, affirmative side, Mr. ILUMBA Dave, Mr. Basulgan Marlon, Miss Dalangin Angelica, and Miss Enriquez Bianca Jane. And thank you, the negative side, Mr. ELJERA JOHNNIE, Miss DUMA REXIE, Miss CAPITO ANNACIAL, and Mr. ARNEL Manuel. And we are the
Great Defenders!
Thank you.
Thank you.